Okay, we're recording. So I'll just get started. We're still waiting for Hashir, one of our guest speakers, to join us so we can start the training. So before that, I'll just like to do a quick introduction and say hello, everybody. Welcome to a new community meeting. Today is Monday, the 20th, I think. Is it the 20th? Yes, the 20th of October. And as I have told everybody in the forums, we're actually having a special edition today, which is a training from these two amazing folks from TalkBox who are going to talk about Firefox Hello. So until we get that started, I see that there are already some questions in the Etherpad. John, I'll send this to you as well, so you can see. And Hermina was just telling us how she got to answer some of them. So Hermina, please do. Please speak.
Okay. This is a bit weird just because I'm speaking into Ralph's microphone and I have the tendency to look there. So yes, I answered those questions because on Body App I'm working a lot with Roman Testar, who's the product manager for Loop and for Body App as well. So we are also, talking about integrating Body App into Loop sometimes. Whether it makes or it doesn't make sense, we'll see. We'll figure this out. So that's how I learned a couple of things about Loop. I also have it on my phone, so it's quite great. I'm calling it Loop. It's Hello. Sorry for the for calling it differently. It's just that I know it for a while now, and I got used to the internal name. So Hello.
Yeah, I think there were a few names until we decided like what's going to be the last name. The last name is Firefox Hello. So yes, were you saying something? Hermina? No. So did people already try it? It's now in beta. How does it feel? I admit I haven't had the chance to try it yet, so this will be all new to me.
Sorry I'm late, guys. Daughter's been feeling a little sick, so she kind of slowed me down.
That's okay. We're ready to go. So whenever.
Okay. So I guess, John, do you mind if I give like a brief introduction and then we can get started? Does that sound good?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I guess it sounds like you guys have a basic understanding of what I'm just gonna call it Hello Firefox, since if this is ever gonna get recorded, then people will know what we're talking about, assuming that's gonna be the final name. So the Hello Firefox app, it's currently I guess it's in beta. So I missed how many people have tried it so far. So do we have like most people? Can we get like maybe like a hands kind of a thing? Okay. So it seems like almost everyone here has given it a shot. If you haven't, you can download the nightly or the beta, and it shows up as like a button in the top right. At least right now, it looks like a kind of like a chat, like a little comic, like a talking button. It's not like I wasn't 100% clear that it was video right at first. If you click that, it gives you a URL, and you can give that URL to somebody else. They can go to a browser, and then they can use that to begin talking with you over video. Well, let me back up here, and maybe what we can do is I'll explain how we're going to go through this training at a high level, and then I'll dive in. So first, I'm going to just go through like maybe like common issues that a very basic user would have, and I'm talking about like someone that is not internet savvy at all, maybe like a grandparent or something like that doesn't exactly know how to get things started right away. Maybe someone like that that's tried it out and having problems. We'll go from there, and then I think what we'll end up doing is we'll then talk about some of the high-level concepts about the implementation using TalkBox, And the reason for that is that the last portion is going to be about how to do some more technical debugging. And John's going to go over most of that part. So the reason I'm going through this is that at any point, if you feel like, okay, this is over my head at this point, then you can drop off and you can be safely assumed that you didn't miss anything that you would have gotten. You don't have to sit through to the end. So I think there's a way for me to screen share in this. Is that correct, Madalena? Is it just the... 1 second.
Yeah, you should just be able to press the...
Okay. All right, let me get my Firefox quickly. Okay, so is it just the monitor at the bottom?
There's this icon that has like a, it looks like a play button.
Okay, all right. Perfect. So John, maybe what I'll do is I'll give you the URL. Okay. So I don't know if you guys can see it in the screen, but at the top right, there's this start a conversation. If I hover over it, it says start a conversation. If I click that, there's a URL. I'm just going to copy it. And I'm just going to paste it to John. You can email it directly in there. I happen to... we work together, so I'm just messaging it to him directly. All right, and now you'll see accept or cancel. It's pretty straightforward. You can click accept. I don't think there'll be a lot of problems in there. I'm going to mute myself, and John, if you could do the same inside the Hello and the Firefox Hello app, so there's no like feedback from.
I clicked deny. Let me refresh.
Okay, go ahead. So see, actually, that's the first thing I was going to say. So in Firefox, there's just an accept or cancel button. But John, are you using Firefox or Chrome? Oh, did you get? John, are you there?
I'm using Chrome.
Okay, you're using Chrome, right? So if you're using, at least in Chrome, there's a accept or denied dialog that shows up. So the interface is not the same in Chrome as it is in Firefox. In Firefox, it's like built in, and it kind of pops up at the bottom of your browser, and it doesn't really matter. Sorry, there's no like deny button. There's like a cancel button, so it's pretty straightforward, and there's no cryptic kind of messaging. In Chrome, it says something like along the lines of, do you accept your browser, do you want to give your browser permission to use your camera and mic? And some people might initially see that and be like, what is, am I doing this forever? Or what's going on here? And is it just for this domain? Or for whatever reason, they may click deny and not realize that it's just trying to get the permission for the camera and mic so that they can actually just talk to the person. So I think that's something that even at TalkBox, the non-Hello Firefox apps, we do see this. People will click deny for a number of reasons. So that's probably going to be, numbers-wise, one of the more common issues. It's obviously not hard to debug. You just tell the person, hey, you need to click accept. There's one or two things that we don't know just yet. Like, well, actually, maybe we do know them, and somebody at Mozilla can comment. Is the link going to be always? Is it always going to be a HTTPS URL? This one is. Do you guys know if in the final one it'll probably be the same thing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so the reason this is important is because WebRTC is implemented within the browser. And for Google, if the URL is HTTPS, your decision to allow or deny is, today at least, it's saved. So what does that mean? That means that if I sent someone a URL and they clicked deny, and then and then the person called me and it was like, hey, you got to hit accept. The next time I send the URL, they actually won't get the dialog again because of the HTTPS URL. If it was HTTP, they would get it again, but this is just an implementation detail that Google has put in. If it's HTTPS for that domain, which it will be the same domain because it's the same app. So what you have to do then is on the right side of your address bar, there's like a little video camera kind of button. You have to click that and tell it explicitly, like, hey, ask me again next time. And then it'll ask you to refresh the page, and then it'll ask you again. So that's only for Chrome. Now, if the other person is using Firefox, I'm assuming that at the end of the implementation, they'll also just have it pop up in their browser, just like it does on our side. But if it doesn't, there is also an accept or deny dialog, and they have to hit accept, but it doesn't save on HTTPS. So it's a little bit, it works out a little bit better for someone that's not clear what's going on. So that's, I think, probably one of the bigger ones. Another one, I don't think this one's going to be as common. If they're blocking certain ports, then they could have problems. But this one, it's more complicated because you need to have someone that understands network administration a little bit. And I foresee this coming up for people that are behind some sort of strict corporate firewall at work, and then they try to use it. So there's two parts of this, I suppose. One is telling the user that this is why this problem is occurring. And I think the best way for that would be to have there be some sort of message in the implementation, like, hey, we're not able to reach a certain set of servers because of your firewall. You need to contact a network administrator. Currently, yeah, I mean, the second best thing to do is, I guess, if there were some sort of a tool to have a network connectivity check. TalkBox does have one, but I don't know how the logistics of that will work. I'm guessing Mozilla won't be like, oh yeah, just go to TalkBox's website and do this connectivity check. That may not happen. So that is a way to debug it. I mean, if someone just says, hey, like, I'm having this issue, you can give them that URL. And John, what exactly is the URL for the connectivity check? I think it's talkbox.com/tools/ let me just double check. Yeah, it's talkbox.com/tools/connectivity. And this, like I said, this is just a debugging tool for your network. So if you have ports that are needed to run the video blocked, then you use that. But like I said, I don't think this is going to be a problem for the vast majority of people. It's not going to be a problem. The default settings on routers on people's home networks aren't going to be this strict. In fact, even I don't think a lot of corporations will have problems, but there are going to be certain group of organizations that are just by nature very strict about everything, right? Like insurance companies and banks and anything government related probably. So that may show up. As for a solution to that, like I said, aside from them, I don't know, tethering to their phone or essentially getting on a different network, the only other thing they could do is ask their network admin to do something about it. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be as common though. This is probably even less common. If they have their settings in their browser, say, I'm just trying to be thorough here, that say like they don't want to allow JavaScript to run, that's also probably, it's just not going to work. But I mean, to be quite honest, like nobody today really is doing that. I think you're basically not using the internet really if you have that on. Oh, sorry, I should have mentioned this in the very beginning. And I tried this out, and there is appropriate messaging for it, so it should also not be a huge deal. But if you're not using a WebRTC compatible browser, then it also won't work. So right now, the two big ones that have WebRTC built in are Chrome and Firefox. Internet Explorer, Safari, those guys, I'm not sure. I mean, I think at TalkBox even we've tried to look into like what the roadmap is for that. It's been pretty unclear, and my guess is that it won't go in very soon. Maybe sometime in the future there may be some sort of plugins. And we have a plugin for IE, but again, with the Loop app, I don't know if people will be using it or how compatible it'll be. When I say we, I meant TalkBox. But perhaps there could be a solution like that in the future that Mozilla puts up. But right now, you just get a message that says, hey, this is not a compatible browser. Why don't you try something like Firefox? And that will work. And there's a message for it. So I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but maybe to be thorough, you can, just like I said, if we're talking about people that are really not internet savvy and maybe they think that the E is the internet on their computer, the IE icon, then perhaps that's one way to explain, like, hey, you need to be using a WebRTC compatible browser. That might be something simple. Those are the basics of, that's all I can think of at kind of like a high level. Oh, I guess there's one more. So remember I said there's this accept camera and mic dialog. Now, if you just have one camera and mic attached or on board, it could be the built-in one, then it'll choose that by default. But if you have more than one, or sometimes we've seen like if you've had more than one and maybe the driver is installed and somehow it thinks that it's still attached but it's not, you may see more than one option for either the mic or the camera. Now, if you don't if you don't click on the right one, then you're not going to use the one that you think you're using, and it also won't work. So that is probably somewhat, that could happen a few times. I mean, for people that have it, we've seen that occur. And again, if they're in Chrome, because the settings are saved, they'll have to go to the address bar to the top right. They'll see the little video button, and then they'll have to say, hey, make sure that you ask me every time and reload, and then get it. I think that might be the trickiest one that people could run into. This is all speculation, by the way, on my part, because I haven't actually interacted with someone that is this much of a novice and uses Firefox nightly. So yeah, I believe that's the last one that I can think of. So yeah, in that case, just have them, it's hard to know which one is the right one. You can just have them cycle through the different mics and cameras and potentially figure it out that way. So I think from here, what I'll do is I'll hand it off to John. And John, you can just run with whatever you have planned. I think we'll talk about TalkBox sessions and underlying implementation details at a high level initially. Does anyone have any questions?
Roland, you have a question.
I'm sorry, I didn't do my homework. Are you guys the support team for TalkBox?
Yes, we are. So anyone that has kind of like,
Are you going to be maintaining an FAQ somewhere? Do you have a knowledge base? I assume so. I see that the incredibly awesome Vesper has found your FAQ, has found your forum. But if you could, it would be great to have a Etherpad with a list of all relevant support links and an overview of the product. maybe you don't have that, but for the Firefox and cloud services SUMO persons who don't exist, that would be great.
So we are the support team, but when I say support team right now, it's not the same kind of support that you would use, for example, like if you call, we provide an API, right? So people that come to us and ask us questions are predominantly developers. And
so you're developer relations.
Yeah, sure. I mean, these terms are thrown around very like flexibly. So yes, we support. We're developer relations. We're kind of like anyone that needs help with their implementation is our usual the person that we usually talk to. So it's a little bit different, right? Like if Mozilla runs into a bug that they're not sure, hey, why is this constantly happening with everyone? Then we would be like, okay, at this point, it's probably not one person making a mistake. It's probably something, either it's a bug on our side, or it's maybe we need to clarify how to use the API a little bit better, and maybe it's a bug on your side. That's when we would sort of dig in. Where there's 4 people on our team, so we're usually not helping people figure out, hey, how do I turn this on or off, or like, power cycle your computer, things like that. That's usually not the nature of what we get. But we do have a FAQ for those kind of issues. We do have a forum as well, but again, they're usually questions about the API, or we'll post about like outages and things like that. Aside from that, I know that we are going to have a channel for Mozilla to escalate tickets to our team with, and that's going to be kind of like just a place where they can track all their issues, look at the priorities, see how long it's been since we've like looked at it or attended to. But yeah, again, those are usually we're assuming right now that's going to be regarding the API itself. And I guess I can. Should I provide a link to that somewhere? Can I do that here?
Yeah.
You can probably Google TalkBox forum, but I can provide the link too. Is it just the chat bubble icon?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So,
Great, thanks for answering the question.
Yeah, sure. So this is our main support site. And there's a bunch of questions that are already the FAQ kind of, we call them our knowledge base articles, because some of them are a little bit longer. They're all kind of visible there. You can browse them, or there's a search at the top, and you have to search one question before you can post to the forum initially. That'll take you to, once you get to the forum, you can just save that URL. I can provide that too. So you don't have to ask the question every time, I guess. One thing that I guess is kind of important is that you do need to log in if you want to post. You need to have a TalkBox account to post to the forum. Like the channel that we have for Mozilla, it won't be on the forum. It's going to be a separate email address login type of thing.
Yeah, I expect we'll probably go through the Mozilla channel rather than...
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I'm just providing it in case you want to browse existing content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty useful. Thanks.
Yeah, again, these things are going to be specific to the TalkBox API, not to Hello Firefox. But I think that's it. Again, unless there's any more questions.
Any other questions, folks?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yes?
I heard a yeah.
Yeah, the fact is, when a user starts the call, he cannot choose which microphone or which webcam he use. So it will be a problem from the person who is calling, who will start the calling. So is there any way to fix it?
Yeah, so that's actually a good point. That's something that can probably be fixed in the implementation. Or I don't know how, actually, I don't even know how Mozilla is doing it right now. So I think what your question is, clarify if I'm wrong. The person that's making the call, they don't get a dialogue to choose a camera or mic.
Yeah.
Hello, Firefox. I would defer that to the developers of it because I don't have a lot of insight about how it's chosen currently. Is that something we can get an answer on, actually? Because I'm somewhat curious about that myself.
Yeah, Safwan, if you add the question to the Etherpad, we'll get with the Hello developers and get an answer for you.
Great question, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, any other questions? Okay, if not, we can move on.
All right, John, go ahead. Oh, is there a way to revoke?
Yeah, I think you just click the share button again when it
All
turns.
right, there we go.
Wait, can you hear me?
You really faint, at least for me.
And then let me move the mic closer, or actually no, I can. It's only on max. Wait 1 second. How about now? Better?
A little bit better, yeah.
So I'll just I guess I would just start sharing my screen. So 1 second. Alright. So basically for our OpenTalk API, there's there's a session ID, which you can think of as like a room. So in order to chat with someone, both of you guys have to join the same session. And in order to join a session, you would need a token, which is like a password. It's like a movie ticket where you use it and you can go in and you stay in there. You can use the same token to join the same session. And when you join a session, okay, so there's two terms. There's a publisher and then there's a subscriber. So when you join a session, you can just join it and you don't even publish to anyone. You don't even have to subscribe to anyone. And you can actually send signals to each other. And you can choose to publish publish your camera. And then when you publish your camera, you start streaming your webcam to either to our servers or to peers on the same session. So say user A starts publishing, user B joins. User B will see a message that says user A published, and user B can choose to subscribe to user A if they want to. So for Firefox Hello, how it works, I think, is both of the users join the session, and both of them publish, and then both of them subscribe to each other. So that's basically the gist of it. So should I go into how I join a session with a debugger?
Sure. I think we can do that. Like I said, I don't know how. Let's just go ahead and do it for thoroughness. And if people don't find it useful, then that's fine. At least we'll have covered it for anyone.
Actually, I can show you guys a connectivity doctor first, I guess. So this is it. Oh yeah, you have a question? Or? No.
You're muted, Roland. Roland, you're muted. You're still muted.
Okay, sorry. So what we usually do, the level of technicality that we go to, John and Hashir, is we normally ask more technical users to get logs. We don't ask them to actually debug the application. So it might be more useful to show us how to get logs or the equivalent.
All right.
I think the connectivity doctor is still valid because I mentioned.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
oh sorry, that's valid, but I mean the debugger
Yeah.
thing.
Sure.
So disclaimer, I found out that this doesn't work with Firefox beta just today because I tested it with Firefox stable. So, but basically this thing, if you run it, it would like give checks if, for stuff that works and X's for stuff that don't. But since my network works, it works. Basically, basically, it just actually uses the WebRTC API to actually establish the just do a network discovery with our turn servers as well. So that's how I test for it in the connectivity doctor. So if it's all checks, theoretically, WebRTC should work for them. So then Firefox Hello would work for them. So I
was just saying this goes back to what I said about like if there could be some users that don't have potentially some ports that are open or they might have some network issues. This is a check for that. So you can't check for somebody else by running it in your browser, just to be clear. They have to run it within the network that they're testing.
Yeah,
but they can't go to like they can't have issues at work and then think, okay, I'm just gonna go home and run the test, then go home, run the test on the same computer and think, oh, I passed everything, I should be fine, and go back to work, and then that doesn't work. You have to do it in the network that you're testing.
Yep. So I actually put this link in the notepad thingy, but yeah. And so let's do the loop. So I guess this is okay. So instead of debugging, I'll just teach you guys how to get logs from users. So say someone's like, oh, this doesn't work, right? And then right now, I don't know how to get logs from Firefox, but we can use Chrome to get logs. So here.
This is an ask that we had for the Mozilla guys as well, because you can't open the console and get logs in for the Hello app.
So how to do this, guys?
We just did this today. We're actually trying to troubleshoot an issue that Hermina and I were having when we were testing it.
It's quite basic. It's very easy to do it on Firefox as well. And it's exactly as you said. You will go into tools and then let me see.
Yeah, I can share my screen.
Yeah,
and
okay.
I don't know if you guys will be able to see both my screen and theirs.
I think that you'll get kicked off, but that's fine. If you know how to do it, then let's just demonstrate how you do it in Hello, and we'll also show how to do it in Chrome.
Okay. So I'm using Firefox nightly right now, and what I did after sending the link to Hermina, then before she called me, or before the time that I wanted to initiate the log, I went to Tools, Web Developer, Browser Console. And were you guys able to see my menu, or that menu?
I don't think I saw it.
Okay, here. I'll share my entire display. So went to Tools, and then Web Developer, and then Browser Console. And here's the log with everything from Firefox, and I just cleared it. And then Hermina called me, and once she called me, the log started popping up, and then I just copied that and sent to the developer, or in the case, create a bug for it.
Oh, that's it. It's pretty easy to do it in Firefox as well.
Okay.
Can I ask a quick question about that?
Yeah.
The web console that Ralph just had open, is there a about config entry that is on by default to put those logs in the web console?
I don't know the answer. Actually, does anyone from Firefox know?
I'm not sure. I think those. So let's see. Those logs. I don't know if they. Well, actually, I probably don't know the answer, but yeah, they show logs from, let's see, net, CSS, JavaScript, and security stuff. I don't know if they show anything specific from the Hello app. I'm running on Nightly, but
I don't see anything when I call myself in the console on Firefox, by the way.
Yeah, so this is what we saw before, that the console logs, they have logs for the page, but didn't seem to have anything specific to the actual Hello app.
So it's not the web console. It's a browser.
Oh, it's not the. Oh, it's okay.
Browser console. Yeah, so that's something different.
Oh, okay, okay.
And how do I get to the browser console in Firefox?
Oh, you're on Windows. Let's see. Oh,
Control Shift and G.
Control Shift G, yes.
All right. Let's see. So, okay, not so bad. Okay, well, I guess these are the logs. So, I think the logging might have been turned off by default, at least the logging for OpenTalk. As you can see, there's only these logs.
okay.
Or were you able to get different logs other than this?
I'm not sure. I think I had. Let's see. Well, I can try calling myself to it and see. But when Hermina called me, I had a whole bunch of different logs show up. But maybe it was because there was a specific error happening, and maybe because I'm using Nightly.
So just a quick question. So when Hermina called you, did you also talk to her in the pop-up window, or was it in an actual web page?
Actually, we weren't able to talk at all because when I was calling him, he wasn't able to answer. That was the bug that we've seen. So we weren't able to get
Okay.
conversation. But he could see my incoming call in the pop-up window.
I see. Okay, so let's do this, John. Let's just demonstrate how when the call is between, at least with, I guess, Chrome, or within the browser window itself, we know we can obtain all the logs in there, and I guess we can follow up on how to get, because I mean it looks like we're seeing that there are some logs there, but they're pretty sparse. It doesn't look like most of them are turned on, or somehow they're being filtered.
Okay.
So perhaps we can follow up and find a way to get them in the actual Hello app.
Alright. So, like, here's how you would do it. You would, is the screen still going on? So.
Yeah, I can see it.
Here's a link, and then you would ask them to actually go into here in Chrome, or actually I'm not sure, Firefox might work too, but in the console you have to first type ot.set log level to 5, and then after that you can start the call, when we meet everything. Like,
I think now the two are able to get the logs because Roman could see that no problem with that.
the other console logs and Chrome, and
Can you see it in the email you sent him? Because maybe.
that is what would probably be
Okay.
phone debugging.
So I think it's what I said. So here, for example, I see some parts of the log. Oh, sorry.
And do you want to add anything to this, Hasher?
No, I think that's fine. Can you just paste the string that you typed into the chat console for anyone that?
Yeah, basically you have to turn on our logging first, and then it'll start displaying in Chrome or in Fire. If there was a way to type that into Firefox before the call, maybe that would work too.
So can you just try it in Firefox right now? Maybe we can just clarify. Just use you can use the same URL even.
Can I type into here? No. I'll use Firefox. No. I don't know.
Okay.
It doesn't look like
All right, that's fine.
Yeah. Doesn't look like it's in. I'm in the scope of the Firefox Hello, so yeah.
Okay.
But that would be how you would debug that. And the reason my camera here on my right side isn't working, or actually isn't working, is because I'm using the wrong one. Let me refresh, and then yeah. So for some reason, video makes it so I can't use my camera. But yeah. Ooh, echo. Okay. But you guys get a gist of getting the logs, right? Well, I mean, I guess that would be the next step would be debugging the session by joining with like a third-party tool, or not. Well, actually, we wrote it, but I would call it a third-party tool because I guess we wrote it and it's not Firefox. But yeah, any questions? No, but yeah, I mean, I guess you got yes.
Can I ask some small question about, like, two persons is talking, and while talking, the internet connection between them is disconnected. After 5 or 10 seconds, the internet connection come again. So the call will resume again, or the call will cut.
The call will be cut. There's no retention logic right now.
There is no about time level that if it is within 1 second, the call will not cut, or if it is within 5 seconds, the call will not cut. There is anything like that? Like when we use this Skype, if the network is disconnected and within 5 seconds it will come, the call and again resume. Is there any way to do it in the WebRTC?
Let me check on that actually. Do you know off the top of your head, Hasher?
I don't think that. Oh, you mean natively to WebRTC? If that can occur, if that can happen?
I think 1 second no internet might be okay, but I'm not sure about any time longer than because you're connected to our servers. For signaling. You're connected to the other peer also.
Just back up for 1 second. There's kind of 3 levels here, right? One is loop, or I guess hello. Then there's our API, and then there's native WebRTC. Are you asking, is it possible at all to do this at native WebRTC, or are you asking, does loop currently do this? Or if we currently do it?
I am talking about the API, that it can resume it or not.
Our
It can resume the
API,
connection.
no, our API doesn't have that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it will not resume like the other video conferencing like Skype or not. I think okay.
Do you know how long our timeout is if network isn't there, John?
I'm looking through our code right now. Let's see. It is 5 times 9,000 minus 100. 44,000. 44,000 milliseconds.
That's
about 4 seconds. About 4 seconds or something like that.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
So yeah, I mean, I guess that would be most of what we can ask you guys to do to get the logs and stuff. Unless there's anything else you guys think would help.
So, are there any other questions about any other curiosity that you may have? I saw that there were a lot of questions in the Etherpads, but they were answered. So Hermina seems to be our hello guru. She has answered everything. There was a question from Jay about the problem with sync. Jay, are you online by any chance? Because I'm not sure if I understand the question. I don't think he's online. Okay, we'll follow up with him afterwards. Anyway, so any other questions, guys? Now it's your time to ask. Last chance.
Last question about, is there any minimum speed that will be needed for the WebRTC?
Yes.
Minimum speed.
We give guidelines of having 350 kilobits per second up and down per connection. So if I'm talking to 2 people, I need 350 up so I can send my own video, and 350 down so I can get another person's. If later on the Hello app you can have like multi-party, then you need 350 down per stream as our official guideline. I mean, I think you can maybe get away with a little bit less. We probably have some buffer built into that, but yeah, that's the official answer.
Is there any way to control the video quality of that? Like, I want to see the video quality is lower quality, or I want to see the video quality of higher quality. So when I use the low internet speed, I can click on the low video quality so I can see without buffering. And when I am using high internet speed, I can use good video quality for good buffering. Is there any way to do it?
Our API does allow to do things like that, yes. However,
Okay.
I don't believe
it depends on if the Hello developers at
Right.
Mozilla have included so right now it's in beta, and I think they have a pretty aggressive schedule as to how they're putting in new features. So if you look up Hello bugs on Bugzilla, you might be able to see when that sort of thing will go in.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's what I was. It's gonna be up to the dev team to decide. Well, I think at some point it makes sense to if this is gonna be a multi-party thing, but I have no clue about the timelines.
One more question for you. So sometimes we get questions about the WebRTC that's native to the browser. Is that your TalkBox's API, as far as I understand, or are those questions directed towards the WebRTC team?
Yeah, native WebRTC questions are probably better for the WebRTC team.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. There was another question I see on the Etherpad from Ashikur. Will there be any option for group chat? anybody knows if there are any plans for that.
There is, but it's way down the line.
Way down.
The initial implementation is just one-to-one user, but they do have plans for a group chat at some point.
And just for one user, it's probably somewhere in Firefox 38, most likely, but it's not confirmed. So for group chat, it's probably even more further away.
Awesome. Ashkur, I hope that helps. I will write down this in the Etherpad as well.
I saw one more hand go up, I thought.
I had put my hand up because Hermina was going to answer. But
okay.
I had time to click into unmute as fast.
We work as a team here, so I have the video and he has the audio. So.
All right. Well, if there are no more questions, I'm looking one more time on the Etherpad and the SUMO channel. I guess that's it. So thanks, guys, for joining us and for showing us around. We'll probably reach out to you more while this is being implemented and we get the chance to actually play with it, and probably more questions will come.
So,
we'll find out. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. There were two things out of this that I think we didn't get clarity on. Maybe it would be good if we could at least between us figure that out. One was the logs for the app itself. Because I think that is useful. Making sure that the other person is using Chrome is, I don't know how helpful that is. That's really just sort of a hack that we put together. We were like, oh hey, if you use Chrome, it doesn't use the built-in app, obviously, so you can get the logs. But I think that would be one good thing. There was another really good one. Oh right, if we could find out how they deal with different video and mic sources. That was the other question that I think came up that we didn't.
For this one, I answered because, sorry, I didn't pay attention when it was asked in the call.
Okay.
No, so unfortunately you won't be able, at least for this version, you won't be able to select when you are the one who is initiating the link, who is sending the link.
So when you're saying you won't be able to select it, does that mean that it just picks the default? But is it doing it intelligently enough that you don't even need to, or could you just be stuck?
Probably using your default device, whatever you've selected as your default device for your PC.
Okay, because what I'm getting at is, this is something I would have to test. I don't know yet, but maybe if it's using the last chosen thing, then maybe you could go to a site that uses WebRTC, pick the device that you want, and then open it. I don't know if that'll work. This is a complete shot in the dark right now. I'd have to test it. But maybe what I can do is I can try that out and email you guys back if it works.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. So Madalena, I'll just after the call try it and send you an email.
Okay. Sounds good.
Wait, actually, there's one more thing I'd like to add. I don't know how helpful it will be, but there's actually a support checklist we give to our developers to talk to their end user, like kind of like a step of things to go through to see what the problem is. Kind of sometimes it's their camera, sometimes it's their microphone. It's like, try out all these other different apps. Try out this website that uses WebRTC. Try out this website that uses Flash for the camera. So I pasted that in the group chat over here, but basically it's just it might be helpful. I'm not sure in debugging and isolating where the problem is. So yeah.
Yeah, actually, I think that you guys should give that a look. I mean, they're pretty. When you look at it, you'll probably see that they're pretty straightforward and like rational things. Like, well, why don't you try another video app and see if that works, right? And then why don't you try another WebRTC implementation and see if that works? It kind of like step by step eliminates where the problem could be.
Yeah, that is super helpful. Thanks for sending that. I'll share it with everybody else for those people who cannot see it on video. Cool. All right, we're already 2 minutes over time. So, last call.
Thank you.
Thanks,
That was
guys,
helpful.
for
Thank you,
everything.
guys.
It was
Later,
very
guys.
interesting. And SUMO community, the updates from the rest of the things that happened last week are in the Etherpad, so just read there and yeah, let us know if there are any questions. And thanks, and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Looking for another